So, just got back from watching Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. I'm going to say that I can definitely understand where the critics are coming from, especially with regard to the editing, the plot, rather the lack thereof, and so forth. It is a really bad movie. And I want to kind of break this down with some spoilers. I want to point that out. There's going to be some spoilers in this video, so please do not listen to this video if you are not wanting spoilers. And please do watch it yourself if you're interested. The train wreck of this movie is really monumental. And perhaps this is not only in the vein of course, Zack Snyder, but also inherent to, I believe, Warner Brothers' reactive and very much paranoid approach to franchise building. I don't think they understand what they got on their hands and how to do it. I don't think they give a shit. I think Time Warner just wants to milk what they can out of it and just ignore people. So anyways, one of the biggest things that kind of confused the utter fuck out of me was the motivation behind Lex Luthor's choices with regard to both Batman and Superman. FYI, he actually knows who these people are, not just simply by their secret identities or the public identities as heroes, but also their secret identities as Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent. He knows these people. And I feel like that, I'm like, huh? But what's worse is why is he afraid not only... I mean, why is he on the side of Batman? Why didn't he go to side with Batman and poison Batman's ear and make Batman more that way? Now, in the movie, he kind of does that with certain little tricks to try to, deprive this one guy of his checks. He intercepted those checks in the mail and started doing the whole thing, and... that where you see, well, you let your family die kind of thing, right? That one scene on the trailers, that's exactly the same thing here. So he does do all these little things, and they start making sense together. But in the way it's all presented, it doesn't make any sense. And by the way, if you read anything about what Zack Snyder has talked about in characters he wanted to have as villains in Batman v Superman, apparently two characters he wanted to have was the Joker and Riddler. And that shows especially in Jesse Eisenberg's version of Lex Luthor. Because prior to that, another thing that was a rumor, hasn't yet been confirmed, I don't think it ever has been confirmed, was one of the theories was, or rumors was, that Zack Snyder wanted Bryan Cranston to play Lex Luthor. So this would be a much older Lex Luthor, perhaps even more of a thuggish character. Probably more in the modeled less off of like Elon Musk, and more modeled after, say, Rupert Murdoch. But nonetheless, that never happened. We don't know. But I can definitely say the funny thing is Jesse Eisenberg originally came in, auditioned to play Jimmy Olsen. I shit you not. He wanted to play Jimmy Olsen. And that kind of fits, because if you look at some of the other stuff he's starting to do now, what Jesse's doing now, it kind of fits with him. He wants to play more human characters, less megalomaniacal characters. But I think Zach, and of course Chris Terrio, and whoever else that was involved didn't want Lex to be the traditional Lex. They mushed together the insanity kind of Riddler and Joker together. Now, there is some implications. I don't think Jesse Eisenberg's character's done. If this movie makes any sizable amount of money, say above the, north of 500 million, I'm pretty sure we're going to see his character again, and it's going to be a lot more interesting to see where that goes. But as it is, it's just a complete mess. That's number one. Number two is there are scenes in the movie where there are dialogues, where you will see, say, Soups come up and say, "Where's the spear?" As if he knew that this thing needed to be killed with the spear. And more importantly, somehow it was said with the implication as if there was another scene prior, say 30 seconds prior, where Batman and him are huddling together. It's like, okay, I got this spear. I was going to stab me hard with it, blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, yeah. And then there's the scene where, like, fucking, what's her name? Amy such another, Lois Lane comes in and explains, "Why you say that name, Martha?" And it's like, she was outside the fucking building and she raced in. How the fuck would she have heard that? And Batman never repeats it. So it's like, what the fuck's going on? So there's lots of weird little editing decisions, timing issues, lots and lots of things just don't make sense. Um, the whole like seeing the metahuman thing was forced, heavily forced. I feel like that could have been completely thrown out with Lex knowing that stuff. I personally believe that the fight between Batman and Superman should not have happened in this movie. I feel like that was a complete waste of time. And then the fact that they borrowed from Dan Jurgens' Death of Superman, or sorry, Death and Rebirth of Superman, was a fucking bad idea. As much as I love Dan Jurgens, unlike I think he's been doing some of the stuff with Lois and Clark, the new post-convergence one-shot or limited run. I'm just shaking my head here, completely unable to understand or process why they did that. And also, they actually, people say, oh, they borrowed from The Dark Knight Returns as well. And I'm like, barely. His Batman fucking didn't kill fucking Clark or try not to murder him. It was more about showing, it was an ego. It was a dick measuring contest in Frank Miller's fucking book. And that's because, frankly, Frank Miller hates Superman. He hates him with a passion. He thinks that superheroes should beat the fuck out of everybody, whereas Clark Kent never really did. I mean, until maybe like the last 15 years on a regular basis. And usually with like, cosmic level baddies, we're talking like baddies the level, say, from Marvel Universe, to give people a contrast here, to Thanos or Ultron. So Supes was like he's a tank. So he takes a light hand to things. So what I feel about this as a whole, if I were to rate this on a scale of 10, 1 to 10, for comic book fans with a near encyclopedic knowledge of the DC universe, we're talking fucking even dwarfing the knowledge of Jeff Johns. He knows a lot. I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10. Point blank. 5 out of 10. Why? Because it's just the bad editing. So hard to keep track of what the fuck's being said and what's meant and what's being implied. It's like there's a lot of off-scene conversations that were never made it into the screenplay or just never made it past the editing phase for the theatrical release. That's definitely not number, whatever. That is just a mess. So for non-DC fans, non-comic book fans, people who have no fucking clue about comics or these characters, I give this a 2 to 3 out of 10. This is really not worth your time. This is really something you should avoid. Wait until it gets to Redbox. Rent it for a day. Look at it. If you can't get past the first hour without going, what the fuck's this shit? Put it back in the box. You paid your $1. There you go. You paid your fucking Warner Brothers dollar tax. Otherwise, pirate the fucking thing. And then just roll your eyes and say, why the fuck did I waste my bandwidth for Comcast or whatever, or Time Warner? Delete. It is that bad. I am afraid what Zack Snyder will do with the Justice League 1 movie, because I don't think he has a fucking clue when it comes right down to it what needs to be done. And I think part of that is because even his wife won't probably say no to anything Warner Brothers has to say. Oh, we need this and we need that and we need this, and I want a pony. Well, Warner Brothers, you have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Shut the fuck up. But he'll never do that. He'd get fired. So it's just like, okay, guys, I'll just give you the movie you want. And, and they go back to proceeding in the boardroom to their pile of cocaine, which they're snorting. So, oh my God, this is a bad movie. And I've been to some pretty bad movies. I thought 10 Cloverfield Lane's ending kind of was cheesy and bad. But surprisingly, by comparison, it is such a tiny slight by comparison, you could just ignore it and say, it's whatever. It's just, whatever. And whereas Batman v Superman is a train wreck in slow motion, and it is of no use to anybody but to Zack Snyder's wallet, to Ben Affleck's wallet, to all these people's wallets. They got their money out of me, and I'm not going to ever fucking see another Zack Snyder movie ever again. I don't care. People will have to pay for it this time around. Now, I'm hoping Suicide Squad, by comparison, is much better. I got a feeling it is. I got a feeling that it's going to be a better movie, and everyone's going to be like really happy about it. There's going to be warts on that film, but surprisingly, I bet you it'll survive fucking the Rotten Tomatoes rating come August. Same thing with Wonder Woman. Got a feeling that one's going to be at least decent enough to warrant at least Thor Dark World, the Dark World kind of level of rating, or even Superman Returns level of rating. And as such, I am like, oh, terrible.